to the 6th, and then we're going to go back, okay? For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as small g, gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Wow. Amazing, ain't it? Do you think? Yeah. Now, as you're reading this, she was fairly pretty good on point on verse 2, right? Would you say? Okay, let's compare what she said to what the Lord said in chapter 3, verse 15 through 17. Let's compare and see where she went wrong. And if you see it, then what was the devil doing to her mind? If you see it, okay? Verse 15 in chapter 2, forgive me, chapter 2, I'm looking at 3 and I'm thinking 3 in my head. See how the devil does? So chapter 2, verse 15 through 17, forgive me. Now, that'll help you out. Compare that to what Eve said in chapter 3, okay? Verse 15 in chapter 2, okay? I'm going to read it. Is that good? Yes. All right, are we on track now? Yes. Okay. And the Lord God took of the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. That was his responsibility, right? And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest eat freely, right? But of the garden of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. So, now, tell me how Eve got it wrong. Did she say it right? Jordan, did you think she said it right? Remember what Eve said? And the woman said in chapter 3, and the woman said in the second verse, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. You see anything, Tiger? Huh? Huh? What difference did she make? What was her statement that was different from God's? If I can ask, let's make it plain. What did Eve say that was different than what God said? Comparing those scriptures that I read. See any difference? Or as what she may have added or not added to it? Say it loud.
You will not surely die.
You will not surely die. Now, who said that? Eve said that, or the devil said that? Okay, so he lied, but what about what Eve said in verse 2 and 3 of chapter 3?
She said, we may eat fruit from the trees in the garden,
Okay. What about verse 3? You see any difference between what she said?
But God said you must not eat the fruit from the tree.
Okay. Did he say that?
And you must not touch it or you'll die.
Ah. So you see something that she said that God didn't say on the last part? Where did God say you can't touch it from? Anybody see what God said there? Anybody? So Eve said this, and she said God said it, right? So what did she do? She lied. Right? And therefore, she was deceived. Where did that lie come from? Didn't come from God. Where did it come from? Sharona? So what did the devil do then if he didn't say that to her? How did she get that in her mouth?
Her mind.
Her mind. So you mean her mind was deceived because the devil brought a evil thought. Isn't that what he does? Huh? Right? Y'all see that? You see that, Joe? Ma?
Yes, sir.
Did you have your hand up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. D? Okay.
Okay, first of all, she made a mistake by having a conversation
Yeah.
with the devil,
Yeah.
unless she didn't know that was a serpent. I don't know, but
This is the thing.
we get what it don't say.
Yeah.
I see three things
Okay.
now.
I do too, but I want to make sure y'all.
That we go wrong.
No? Go ahead. I see some more things of this. Do y'all? Okay.
Because when she started talking to the serpent, she said she still lied even at the beginning of that, unless I'm wrong. When she said in the second verse, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the tree. Now wait a minute, God said freely eat.
Mm-hmm.
He said freely. She never said freely.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lord said freely.
Okay.
Any tree in the garden. And then the lie of where she said in the third verse, where we already know, neither shall touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, least she die. And then to me, the Lord said surely die. But she left off surely die.
Yeah.
So she didn't tell her right at all.
So one word can change the differ of what you think. Right? The whole structure, right? Okay.
I'm kind of confused.
Okay.
I mean, I get the general concept,
Uh-huh.
but how, if sin wasn't yet introduced to Adam and Eve, how did she know to lie? I mean, like, how did she get to lie? Like, I don't understand how she would have come to that conclusion to not tell the truth.
The thought was implanted. Remember, Mark the 7th chapter says, from within, out of the heart proceeds what? And what does the devil? He's a master illusionist to what? Bring down, remember Jesus said through the mouth of Paul to cast down vain imaginations? Well, the devil gives you a vain imagination and let you and I what? What we do with it? We run with it, right? We don't even question it sometimes. We just let it go on, play out, right?
Yes.
This is exactly what Eve did. But the real sin didn't come completely until she fell and let that, until she let that thought be put into action. That's when the real sin came. As long as she was thinking it and didn't put that thought into an action, it was still in the making. She could have fought it. Her husband might have could have helped her. Right? You think? Read?
Maybe.
Well, let's look at this. Okay, if I let that thought go on and entertain it, eventually I'll put it into action. But how many of us have evil thoughts and we say, get going? I forget that, or it goes on, right? How many of us have those? Now, how many of us have some evil thoughts and we just dwell on it? And then sooner or later, we got, man, I can't shake this off, man. You talk to yourself and you just thinking it, and it seems like it gets stronger, right? Then all of a sudden, you give in. How many of us done it? Give in to that evil thought. And then, how many of us know that evil thought already is wrong, right? So now we give into it because we do it. We put it into action, right? So there's where the sin is completely exposed. Got it, Cherie? Yeah. Well, think about it. If you had that thought, it hasn't become a sin just because you thought it yet, but because you entertain the thought makes it a sin. When you dwell upon it. She had to dwell upon it. Why? How do you know that?
Because she was carrying on the conversation with them.
And how you know she still dwell upon it?
Because she acted on it.
There you go. It then unfolds as a complete sin. The thoughts come. So if you have an evil thought and you knock it off, you haven't sinned. Got it? Because you haven't put that thought into an executed action. The devil bring the evil thought, right? But you can play that thought off, right? Hello?
Yes.
Right, Cherie?
Yes.
Okay, so it has not become a sin, right?
Right.
And yet you know you have them, so you asking God to forgive you of the evil thought because it really shouldn't have came in the first place. But it comes because we're what? Human, right? So God knows the moment you put that act into action, that's when it becomes a sin. Got it?
Yes.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So suppose I think I'm going to kill Sam of Joe. Not you, Joe. I'm going to kill Sam. All right? I'm thinking that, but I say, I know that ain't right. Or you said, for instance, well, I'm going to kill her. That was a thought that came into your mind, right? But in all existence of your thought, you said, I know I ain't going to do nothing like that. That's crazy, right?
Right.
So you threw it out the door, right?
Yes.
Okay. But if you come to the point where that thought say, I'm going to kill her, and then you start dwelling on it, I got a number of reasons I'm going to kill her, and let me just go get me. If I see her, she's dead meat, so forth and so on, right? You keep dwelling on this, you're going to do some harm, right? Because now you done put yourself in a position, you just saw her, and the moment you seen her, I should just smack her. Maybe you ain't saying you're going to kill her. Maybe you say, I'm just going to hit her. Then it becomes a what? Because you put it into action, right?
Yes.
Well, Eve, with this thought, put it into action. Got it?
Yes.
Okay? So we're in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and we also comparing what she said in the 3rd verse to chapter 2, what God said. And she lied about it. You know what? Let's say that she didn't know the word. Then she wouldn't be judged for what she don't know, right? So we know she had to know the word. Matter of fact, I know she knew the word because in chapter 2, that was part of whose responsibility? Adam's. You got that, Cherie?
Yes.
Don't you think it's probably a coincidence? How the Adams just told her not to touch it? And she went to touch it.
No. She had her own mind. So she let that thought